Hello children, once again I welcome you to my online class. I am Elisha, your English teacher. My dear children, today I have come up with another important topic of English grammar for class 9th, and that is informal letters. This year Cbse has included informal letters in the English syllabus of class 9th. Earlier we were having article writing, but this time they have excluded article writing, and instead of that they have included informal letters. My dear children, we all are well familiar with informal letters. Somewhere we all have studied about this in our previous classes. In fact, informal letters seem to be quite simple, but they are not so easy to write. My dear children, to write an effective informal letter, we need to keep in our mind certain very important points. And today, in this video, I'll be explaining you all the aspects of informal letter. So my dear children, let's start informal letters. Well, my dear children, on your screens you can see today's topic, and that is letter writing. And today we'll be discussing about informal letters, but before that we need to discuss about letter writing. Although we are well familiar with this topic, but still we will discuss this letter writing in detail. So on your screens you can see the definition of a letter. Letter is a written communication which contains information or message sent by one party to another to convey the message. So it's a kind of written communication where some sort of information is there and it is sent by one party to another to convey the message. So my dear children, there are broadly two types of letters, as we all know, formal letters as well as informal letters. So on your screens you can see two types of letters, formal as well as informal. So we'll see the formal letters first of all, but before that let me tell you that formal letters are a part of class 10th syllabus. So we will discuss formal letter in detail in class 10th, but in class 9th informal letters are there in the syllabus, so we'll be discussing informal letters in detail. But let's have an overview about the formal letters. These letters follow a certain pattern and formality. They are strictly kept professional in nature and directly address the issues concerned. Any type of business letter or letter to authorities fall within this given category. Formal letters are written to the editors of the newspapers, police officers, principals, commissioners, etc. Even letter of inquiry, letter of complaint and letter for placing an order also fall under this category. So, informal letters, any letter that is written to the editor of a newspaper or to a police officer or to a municipal commissioner or to the principal of a school. So all these type of letters, they fall under the category of formal letters. My dear children, if you might have noticed that all these letters, they are addressed to the offices, and somewhere a part of these type of letters, even letter of inquiry, letter of complaint and letter for placing an order also fall under this category. So all these things will be discussed in detail in class 10th. But right now we'll be focusing on informal letters. Now let us discuss about informal letters. These are personal letters. So informal letters are also called personal letters. They need not follow any set pattern or adhere to any formalities. So there is no set pattern for informal letters. There is no formality for writing an informal letter. They contain personal information or are a written conversation. Informal letters are generally written to family members, friends, acquaintances, relatives, etc. So these letters are generally, okay, informal letters are generally written to the family members, friends, acquaintances, relatives, etc. This particular word, you can see it on your screen. Acquaintances means the person whom you know a bit, is not your close friend, nor you have a very close relationship with him, but he's known to you, so you can call it an acquaintance. Okay, now that is what the definition of informal letter is all about. Now let's see the format of an informal letter. There is no set format when writing an informal letter, but there is a general pattern, some conventions that people usually follow. We will be looking at this pattern. So there is no such proper format for writing an informal letter, but there is a pattern normally people follow while writing informal letters. And we also have to follow that convention, we also have to follow that pattern while writing an informal letter. So let's see that format. Well, the format is on your screens. You can see it. The very first thing what we have to do while writing an informal letter is on the left corner, top left corner of the page, sender's address must be mentioned. Sender's address, the person who is writing the letter, his address must be written on the top left corner of the page. As you can see on your screens, 32D Vasant Kunj, New Delhi 110088. Sender's address is given. And after writing sender's address, you have to leave one line and then you will mention the date. So it would be appropriate if you mention the date in a proper way without going for any shortcut. Okay, for example, January, you're not supposed to write Jan, Jan. Okay, so it's better to go for January, or it's better to go for the full word. Okay, then leave one line and then comes the salutation, where you have to write dear mother, dear father, dear brother, whom you are writing this letter. That is called the salutation, that must be written there. And then comes the main body of the letter. Okay, now this is the main body. I'll show you. This is the main body, and this main body is further categorized in three parts: introduction, main content, and conclusion. Okay, let's see this. So this is a letter where a girl is writing a letter to her mother informing her that she will be coming home for the weekend. So let's read this letter and then I'll tell you a few more things about this informal letter. You will be pleased to know that I am coming home for the weekend. I am very excited to meet you all after such a long time. I feel elated to share that the project I had been working on has been selected by America's Library Council. I feel elated. Okay, this elated word means very happy. Okay, so she's very happy. Her project has been selected by America's Library Council. It was a very challenging task for me, but I'm glad that my hard work has paid off. I have also started taking care of my diet as you suggested. How is everyone at home? I hope Neha's dance classes are running well. Update me about everything soon, and please do not forget to visit the doctor for your routine checkup. Convey my regards to Papa and love to dear Shivam. So my dear children, this was an example with the format of an informal letter. So you might have noticed that this letter has been written in three paragraphs. The first paragraph is talking about the introductory part. The second paragraph is all about the main content, and the third paragraph is all about conclusion. So you have to write an informal letter in almost three paragraphs, but it is not compulsory that your informal letter must be written in three paragraphs only. It is not must, it is not compulsory. You can go further also, but this is an appropriate format where we go for such type of paragraphs, where we only go for three paragraphs. So that is what the main body is all about. Now coming to the complementary closure. After writing the letter, leave one line and you are supposed to write the complementary closure. Complementary closure is also called as subscription, where you have to write yours lovingly. Okay, I'll tell you more about this complementary closure, and then after that, at last, your name will be there. Signature doesn't mean that you have to put your initials. Signature doesn't mean that you have to sign. Signature means your name. So this was the format of an informal letter. Now a few things we have to remember, my dear children, especially talking about this salutation and especially talking about this complimentary closure. I'll be telling you a few more things. Please pay attention. On your screens you can see salutation. Few things are written. If you are writing a letter to your parents, to your father or to your mother, please make sure the salutation must be dear father, dear mother, or my dear father or my dear mother. If you're writing a letter to your brother, sister, or cousin somewhere, then what would be the salutation? Dear with the name, or my dear with the name. For example, dear Rahul, my dear Rahul. In that way, you can write. Then comes relatives. If you're writing a letter to your relatives, it's better to go for dear uncle or dear auntie or dear uncle with the name. For example, dear uncle Ramesh. In that way, you can write the salutation. Then coming to the acquaintances. Acquaintances, the person whom you know a bit but they are not very close to you. In that case, it's better to write like this: dear Mr., and then you can go for the name, dear Mr. Sharma, dear Mr. Gupta, somewhat like this. So that is a proper way of writing the salutation. And now I'll show you about the complimentary closure. It is on your screens. While writing a letter to your family members or relatives, it's better to write your affectionate or your loving son, daughter, brother, sister, nephew. You can write it like this. But please make sure, see here, your, not yours. If you are writing yours, then it must be affectionately or lovingly. Please make sure. If you are writing affect yours, 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 in that case you have to write affectionately or lovingly. But if you are writing only your, your, in that case you have to write your affectionate or your loving son, daughter, brother, sister, nephew, whatever. Then if you're writing a letter to your friend, in that case the complimentary closure must be yours lovingly or your loving friend. And then coming to acquaintances, if you're writing a letter to your acquaintances, there you can write yours faithfully or yours sincerely. So these are a few things that you can follow it properly, and I hope you have understood the format of informal letter. You have understood what informal letter is all about. Now I would provide you a homework, and please go through this homework. The homework is on your screens. Write a letter to your friend congratulating him, her, for passing class 10th exam with distinction in all subjects in about 100 to 150 words. You are Manvi oblique Manav. So my dear children, you are supposed to write a letter to your friend, and your friend has passed class 10th exam. You have to congratulate him or her, And the best part is your friend has passed the exam with distinction. Okay, distinction here actually means scoring 75 or more than 75%. That is called distinction. So he scored distinction, he passed class 10 with good marks in all subjects, and you are Manvi as well as Manav. So in this letter, my dear children, you have to please make sure, keep it in your mind that in this letter your address is not given, as well as your friend's name is not mentioned. In that case, you can go for any address, you can go for any name, that doesn't matter, any imaginative name, any imaginative address can be written there, that's not an issue. But if the address is written in the question, then you are supposed to write only that given address only. So I hope you have understood this informal letter, and please do your homework, and any confusion, please let me know. Thank you. Well, children, I hope you all have understood today's topic, informal letters. Well, I have tried to cover up all the important aspects of informal letter. Whatever homework has been given to you, go through that homework, do it. If you have any confusion, please feel free to ask questions. Drop your questions in the comment section and I'll be responding to your questions. So my dear children, that was all from today's video. Till we meet in the next video, take care and God bless you.